Hi guys, my name is Anna. I'm a wife of an addict in recovery.
Hello, my name is Mitchell. I am an addict in recovery.
Mitchell, how far along are you?
I am 9 months and a week and a half, maybe something.
We just wanted to come on tonight because I actually worked through something first by myself, but made my husband aware of what I worked through last night. My parents are on vacation because they are celebrating their anniversary. So
Happy
congratulations, Mommy and Daddy. Happy anniversary. Although I believe it's not happening to the 20th, but early congratulations and happy anniversary. So basically what happened last night
Hi,
is...
Mom.
Hi, Marcia. We have a bunch of dogs in the house. So I decided to go sleep upstairs in my parents' bedroom, seeing they're not here. And right when I went in there, I honestly didn't even really remember this, but that's what I mean, guys, is some things will just happen, and it just activates something that was in the past that you just remember. When I laid down the bed, it was almost like, oh yeah, this happened. And what I remembered was when I thought Mitchell was just drinking, I just really realized and understood Mitchell was an alcoholic. I thought that was what was going on.
So this was probably like 2.5, 3 years ago.
Yeah. So I came up to Mass. Don't exactly remember why, but Mitchell did not come with me. And I remember coming up here and him telling me he went to a doctor's appointment. And then, of course, in my codependent behavior, I called the doctors because I did not believe Mitchell. And the doctor told me, no, Anna, I'm sorry, he did not show up. And I knew right then and there. I think that was really one of the first times that I honestly caught Mitchell in a lie. And when I asked him about it, it still was a lie. And I remember that night just crying because I found out that Mitchell was doing coke as well. And honestly, what happened was I was down here in my bedroom and truthfully, honestly, in the fetal position, just bawling. I couldn't stop crying. But I knew my mommy and daddy were upstairs. Hi, Tanya. So I went upstairs, just like that little girl that goes back up the steps to talk to their mommy and daddy. I walked up there, opened the door, and they asked me, what's the matter? And I just cried. And I crawled into the bed with them, 29 years old, or 30, crawled right in between them and just cried. And I really want to thank my parents so much. I'm so grateful for them because Mitchell, when I talked to Mitchell about this, the truth was my mom and dad were absolutely amazing and a great support through all these situations. What they did was they didn't try to fix it. All they did was hold me and let me cry in the middle of them. And
What'd they say to you?
well, they told me that no matter what I decided, they would support me. And that meant so much to me because, thinking about it now, we as family and friends have to feel our pain as well. We have to feel it in order for us to work through it. And my parents didn't stop me from the pain that I needed to feel. They didn't try to fix it. They just allowed me to feel it, although it really hurt. And when you're in that, you're kind of like someone just take away the pain. But they just let me cry. And I honestly do remember saying to them, why can't I just be that little girl again, with the pail going down to Long Pond to play in the sand? And they're like, because Annie, you have to grow up. And I remember, well, this sucks. But the truth was, I just really want to thank my parents because, yeah, when the memory came up, it kind of, in a sense, made me a little sad because I think that was a memory, honestly, that I suppressed. But at the same time, it made me extremely grateful for two reasons. I had extraordinary parents that let me feel my pain and just support me. And then on top of it, remembering that memory and seeing where I am today just made me feel so good at the process and the recovery that I've made. And I think the reason why I wanted to tell this story too, truthfully, is as family and friends, the last thing we want to do sometimes is have the person we love go through the pain. We are fixers. That's the codependent mentality, is we want to fix everything before they can feel pain. But the truth is, they have to feel that pain. They have to feel that pain in order to work through it. If they don't feel it, they're never going to be able to work through it. So it's just really saying that on the other end, as the family and friends, we do have to feel that pain as much as we don't want to sometimes. We do have to feel that pain because that's the way that we overcome it and work through it. So I just wanted to share that experience with you guys. I had that memory come back flooding in last night, but I actually worked through it. I was going to come down and talk to Mitchell, but it was just one of those things that you work through by yourself, but I still wanted to make Mitchell aware of what I went through. So he knew. And one of the things was, and I'm not going to deny it, it was validating when I told Mitchell, because you know how we feel as families and friends. Sometimes we feel like we're insane, truthfully. We feel like we're doing things wrong or something's wrong with us. And to hear him just go, Anna, you went through some really tough crap. You went through tougher things that some people did. And it was very validating, because when we're going through it, we don't get that validation, so we don't feel heard, and then sometimes we're like, is it really as bad as I think? So it was just, that really did help me, Mitchell. Like,
you're welcome.
Like big time. So I just wanted to explain that to you, and then Mitchell has something as well.
And on that point too, I think we started talking a little bit after she told me that about how like kind of the situation with addiction, alcoholism, whatever it is, and children is very similar, which it seems like to me, because being on the other side of it, a lot of the things I did was childish, and you kind of have to treat me when I was the addict like that, and it's like, the addict me is going to keep on walking all over the people that are around him, because the boundaries and the consequences weren't really being held. Mm-hmm. So it was almost like when a kid's doing something bad and you don't hold firm to your boundary, and maybe you get them something the next day, or you go back on saying, I'm going to turn that car around or something like that. But it's training the addict. I feel now with hindsight that it's like training the addict that he can do whatever he wants to do. They can do whatever they want to do and still get away with it. And you're still going to love them. And as Anna said before, I think it's not that you don't love them when you're holding a boundary. It's that you really love the person, mm-hmm. but you really despise the addiction. And if you're going easy on the person, but the addict's there, then you're going easy on the addict. And I think the addict just takes that and runs with it. So it was a good realization that came from Anna being vulnerable with me and telling me that. And, I want to validate everybody that's on here and that's reaching out to us and that are posing these great questions to us, because, all this pain that you're going through now or have been through, there's going to be a time that you're going to realize how far you've gone and how much you've grown. And I think the biggest growth comes from pain. Pain is just, it's the resistance to change, mm-hmm. really. And I think the greatest things come from pain. Mm-hmm. It really sucks. Mm-hmm. But, if you just stick with it and do what's right, I think it's human nature to want to carry the burden of some other people or just shade them from the pain or from hurt, but you're also creating more hurt for yourself, I believe. So, mm-hmm. Equal distribution of the pain. The pain that I needed to carry as an addict should just be my pain, and the pain, because with carrying that along, a lot of my pain transferred right to Anna's pain, mm-hmm. And that made things even harder and harder. Now, fortunately, we've both grown so much from both of our pains, and I think that we've learned more because we didn't do it right for a long time.
No.
We created more pain, mm-hmm. For each other, with each other, for ourselves.
Yep.
But it's just a real good realization, and that comes from communication, yep. with what's going on with Anna or me or whatever.
And hi, Janelle. And hi, Priscilla. And then I believe Tanya's on here and Anne's on there. And Anna's on here too.
What's up?
And Brandy, we're glad you're here too. And I just want to point out, though, too, with Mitchell, guys, I really think the majority of addicts that are in recovery, when they tell you what really took them to that point, what really helped them bring them to that point, because, Reddy, here's the thing, 100% that is their choice to find recovery. So when they make that choice, that is theirs no matter what we do. But if you ask them what has helped them get to that point, they will tell you hard boundaries. Hard boundaries from the people that they love. But I will tell you, it definitely is, and I'll admit it, it's the hardest thing in the world to let go. But we've talked about this a little bit, but one of the best things that have ever happened is really separating Mitchell, the man that I loved, from the addict. My husband is loving, is kind, compassionate. He tells the best jokes in the world, makes me laugh all the time.
Honest when I'm not using.
Yes, but the addict is manipulative, it is selfish, it is hurtful. And so when I began to separate the two, it was much easier to hold consequences and boundaries because I knew that I really wasn't holding those consequences and boundaries in a sense towards Mitchell. You are, but it is real more placed in for the addict. Because you have to remember, when we do enable and we do codependent behaviors, one of the things is, like Mitchell said, it does hurt us more. Because in the truth, we're not helping our loved one. We are helping the addict thrive more, get more strength. But when we hold hard boundaries and we do consequences for the negative actions of the addict, it pushes the addict further down, lets it lose its strength, and the person we love can push further to the surface. And one of the people I always remember when I asked him what helped him, Chris Alder and Shane Bright, we haven't done a shout out to that in a long time too. They do the Voices of Recovery podcast, amazing guys, addicts in recovery. Chris Alder was huge in my recovery as well.
Yep.
And one of the things when I asked him, I said, I don't get it though, what brought you to your breaking point too? And he said, Anna, it was people that I loved holding those hard, tough boundaries. And so that's something that really helped me out, and that's something that I needed in that moment, because Mitchell is right. You know, like I said, it's when you really do talk to addicts in recovery, the truth is they really do say it's loved ones holding that hard boundary. But it is hard sometimes, guys. The hardest thing to do is let go because you don't know what's going to happen. And shout out to all my Alpine family out there, my biggest support group. I love them all to death. If I did not have this Alpine family support group, I truthfully don't know where I would be. I started it when Mitchell went into rehab. They offered it there, and I go on every single Saturday and learn so much. And the people that are there, and they keep coming back, they've become family to me. But I've learned so much through those people. And so when we always talk about finding our own recovery too, that's why it's very important for us to find places as families and friends, because no matter what, if he apologizes to me 1,000 times for what the addict did, just like Mitchell had the choice to decide, hey, I want to recover. I want to feel these pains. I want to let go of these pains after I work through them, and I want to live a better life. We as family members have to do the same thing. No matter how many times Mitchell says sorry and has empathy, I'm the one that has the key to unlock all that pain and to let it go. Yes, it helps when there's someone there, but in the end, that is my choice to decide if I want to hold on to the pain or not. So the families and friends, that's why when we say recovery, a lot of people ask, are you an addict too? No, but that just shows how much that we really do. Families and friends, we have recovery ourselves too. We can't put it always on them because they're already trying to save themselves. They're trying to figure out who they are. They're trying to figure out their tools. That's why we have our own play.
What's up, Jen?
We have to do what we can for our recovery. So one of my big things is Alpine Recovery Lodge, and other people out there have 12-step programs if you need to go to as well. But we were talking today really about, in a sense, children, because when the addict comes, sometimes it is when they're younger. So it's almost like suppressing when you start taking drugs, wouldn't you say? Like you kind of stop mentality-wise in a sense? Like not figure out, do you stop?
Well, I mean, I don't think you stop. I think you lose yourself in the drugs and the lifestyle.
And then, but when you come back in, it's like relearning yourself over again.
Oh yeah, you totally don't know yourself. I didn't know myself, you know. And I was gonna add to what you just said about having to forgive and you know, really do work yourself.
Yeah.
You know, it's. I just wanted to say, as from an addict standpoint, it's kind of the same thing. I had to forgive myself for all the thoughts I had as a child, as an adolescent, as a teenager, my views on things, my absolutes that I thought were set in stone for life. I mean, and this is the stuff that I lived by every day, you know, and I had to forgive myself for thinking certain ways, because at the time that's the knowledge I had, and that was my truth. You know, and it just, sometimes you have to do away with old thought patterns and old behaviors and old absolutes of life, and like laws of life that you believed so wholeheartedly, to start anew. Because if you hold on to those same things, one of those things you're holding on to could be the reason that you like to numb out. You know, and I never knew that. So I think diving in and forgiving myself and letting me heal, at the same time that you forgave yourself and let you heal and worked on you, instead of me complaining about you, or you trying to kind of control me. You know?
And that was my thought process when I also was talking about Alpine. Is one of the things that we did talk about today, in a sense, was letting go, and how hard that is, because we know as family members, usually our biggest fear of letting go of the person we love and holding those hard boundaries is we are terrified we are going to lose them. And we're so scared that they're going to die. And that's the honest to God truth. It's so scary that it's very hard for us to let go. But what we discussed today is, the truth is, if we keep doing the same thing and we hold on to them and we try to fix it, they're, in a sense, slowly killing themselves anyways by taking the drug or picking up the drink. And I know, guys, from my experience, is the only time that Mitchell, he's always wanted it. He's always wanted recovery, but there were little steps. But this last relapse, I think it came to the point, like I said before, 100% was absolutely Mitchell's decision to recover. But when I let go and really did realize Mitchell is killing himself slowly, so I want to do everything that I can, because if I were, this is the sad point about it, if I was going to stand at his grave, I want to know that I did everything in my power, and the last thing to do was to do something for me as well, and that was the biggest thing, is that I needed to save myself, and I was so scared of letting go, but I knew that if I let go, Mitchell, maybe it would put the addict a little bit less of strength and make Mitchell push up. And I will tell you guys, that's the time where he really went for it, and he went for it hard, and he's been going ever since. So it's a very scary thing, and it's okay if you're not there, guys. It's okay if you don't want to let go. We all have our own journey to do, just like it's scary for them to go and ask for recovery. I'll tell you, one of the biggest things I'll always remember about Mitchell, about dropping him off the first time at the airport in Pittsburgh to go to Alpine Recovery Lodge, when that man looked back at me, it was like a little boy looking back, so freaking scared. And that's why I'll tell you, they do such hard work. That's why when some people are like, oh, they're just on vacation. No, they're not on vacation. One of the hardest things you'll ever have to do in this world is really look inside yourself and go, oh my God, I have faults. I have to put my pride and ego down, and I want to learn, and I want to thrive, and I want to have a better life.
Yeah, and I think that's I think that's a good point to make. You know, I when I went to rehab whenever I was a teenager, like, I didn't want it. You know what I mean? Like, it was a cakewalk, and I think, you know, you have to give everybody the benefit of the doubt, because you don't know what time they're going to get it. You know, so I think something that we all could learn from, and especially me too, is just I let my judgments of people go out, especially with all my times in rehab. You know, judging people when they come in, and whenever they leave, they're my best friend. You know, because it's all these people just connecting and really wanting it, and you see the work they put in. Yeah. Does it take some people 10, 12, 20 times? Yes, you know, but all those times kind of culminate in this huge recovery that they're doing. So, I mean, I would just say, be easy on yourself, be easy on the people that are trying to get this too, because eventually they are going to get it. And I hope that everybody has a chance to recover and have a good life.
And guys, it is possible. Mitchell and I came to the point where Mitchell, being honest, was contemplating suicide, correct?
Yeah.
Mitchell was contemplating suicide, and I 100% did not believe our marriage was going to work. I really thought we were getting a divorce, and I was just going to move on. And so hitting that rock bottom on both of us, we had to hit that rock bottom to bounce back up. So just know, no matter how dark it seems sometimes, there is still hope. And I will tell you, one of the biggest things is when I stopped trying to control the addict, and the hardest thing was to let go and let Mitchell fall. And then I focus on myself, fall, and start getting stronger, because that's exactly what Mitchell did. He got stronger. Oh, Melissa, we're glad you're here too, sweetheart.
Yeah, and Natalie came on, so let me touch on that subject real quick too. Yep. What's up, Natalie? Hey, so I had a question about how I found my faith, and I'm not going to go too much into the actual faith of it, but I'll just give you a brief. So I remember growing up and always going to church, and not always going to church, but when I went to church, like, just feeling like it was just everybody was the same. It was like you had to believe the certain exact way it was said, and then the different churches and different religions were confusing for me, and I really never got that much into it. I think when I started using drugs, I really didn't pay any mind to faith at all. Like, I've always felt spiritual. I've always felt spiritual in nature. I've felt spiritual in my art, drawing, and I think a lot of the resentments towards religion had to do with my learning. I didn't read very well when I was young. Didn't like to ask questions. Faith is a thing that when you get into, you're asking these questions, and you're reading into this stuff, and I think the education side of it didn't appeal to me. So fast forward to my first trip to rehab, I, in working steps, like, you have to surrender, and you find a higher power, and I believed I did. I definitely surrendered, and I just was searching for a higher power. So I believed that I had a higher power that I pulled energy from or could look to, because I know there's something greater out there. I mean, the world is too beautiful, the universe is so vast that something else has to be out there, even if it's something that's alien. I mean, whatever it is,
just energy.
Just, there has to be something, because there is unknowns. So once I didn't really recover, I was in recovery, but I relapsed a couple times. Well, before this last time I went back, Anna had just mentioned I was contemplating suicide. Anna had left. I was probably up for 4 or 5 days. Really, I felt my grip on who I was fading, because it was a couple years, 2 or 3 years of really hard use, and I really didn't know who I was anymore. So when I got to rehab, I started going to church. Thank you, Jen.
Yeah, I was going to say, thanks, Jen.
I love you so much. Big part of me finding my faith. So I recognized when I went to church that I was still having a hard time. I couldn't even say God or Jesus or, and I'm not getting specific with Jen. I'm not getting specific with any religion. So, but I remember saying, like, God or Jesus in a song, and it made me cringe still. And I said to myself, man, I really must have not let go. I really must have not surrendered. And then I started listening, and everything was syncing up with what I was going through. The struggle of people, the acceptance of everybody, do good, do what you would want done to you to your neighbor. You know what I mean? Like if someone steals from you, give them the shirt off your back as well. Like that lines up with who I am as a human being. So shortly after that, me and Anna started working on communication, and really I started listening to some of the things that I put Anna through, and I realized that to truly surrender, I had to forgive myself for some of the stuff that I did. Even I was in active addiction. We were separating the addict and me at that point. So I said, if I truly am going to separate this, that means that healthy Mitchell, has to forgive addict Mitchell for the stuff I've done to the woman I love, for the stuff I've done to my family, friends, all the people that have worried about me, and forgive myself for all the thoughts I had when I was young, about being stupid, my self-worth, all this stuff I had to let go. And I remember letting that sink in for like a week, and then I went to church the next weekend, and it was like everything they were saying was meant for me. And the church I was going to was like a non-denominational, and his messages were just relatable to
Positivity,
positive kindness, do unto others what you want done to you. And it really opened me up, and I said, I've been looking at this all wrong. I always thought that a higher power was the religion you were in. So it had to be God if you did this. It had to be Buddha if you did this, Allah if you did this, or whatever. And I realized that everybody's higher power is a little bit different, because in forgiving myself for all the thoughts I had when I was a kid or all throughout my life, everybody has different thoughts about everything in the world. All human beings are so similar, but we all have so vastly different thought processes. So when you read the same book, if Anna reads the same book as I read, I might get something totally different out of it for her. So I started applying that to God and the and higher power. So I choose to call my higher power God. I act out of love and kindness and forgiveness, honesty. So I was really able to kind of take the best things from religion, I guess you could say, or where I was going to get some spiritual guidance, and conform it to me. And once I learned that was okay, and I didn't have to believe exactly word for word all this stuff, it opened up this whole new world to me. And I realized that earlier I said I've always felt spiritual, and that's what it was, so I realized that I had always had a higher power. That was the spiritual feeling I felt, and there's nothing wrong. Once I realized there was nothing wrong with me as a kid, there was nothing wrong with my thoughts, there was nothing wrong with me wanting to numb out, and when I got into drugs and alcohol, it's just what you knew at that time. So once I was able to say there's nothing wrong with that, but I want to move on from that, I was able to open up to a higher power and say, you are who I need, and I am who my higher power needs. And we are doing these great things because of opening myself up to just something else out there. And it doesn't matter what it is, if it's good and it's love, and it's just the only thing I think I really do is I just put my higher power and my understanding of a higher power into whenever I go to church. When they say God and when they say Jesus, or they say all these stories or whatever, I put in my higher power. I mean, it's all relative, I think, it's someone I can talk to when there's no one else there. We all talk to ourselves all the time anyways, so if you told a doctor that, they'd probably think you were crazy, but our conscience, we're always talking to ourselves. I mean, you talk to yourself 90% of the day, even if you realize it. So it's just talking to yourself. It's talking to just the greater good, or whatever you want it to be. But that was kind of my finding faith and my spiritual awakening, and it took a lot, I don't know if that explained a lot, Natalie.
I hope that was good, Natalie.
But, I would say my biggest thing is just everybody's higher power can be different. You can have the same basis if you want the same guideline, whatever. but there is, in my opinion, there's something out there, and I'm connected to it. And that's all I know and feel.
And we'll take, because Charlene, you asked, how do you learn to trust again? I'll tell you, it's very hard. I won't lie to you. I remember honestly thinking that there was no way in this world that I would trust him again. I remember honestly thinking that if Mitchell were to tell me that the sky is blue, I would go, no, it's not. It's probably cloudy out. You can let Neve out. Our cat's scratching at the door to get out. But the truth is, slowly and over time, and one of the big things that honestly helped Charlene is what I realized to this is that Mitchell helped me out when Mitchell would tell me what his intentions were or what he intended to do. So if he said, Anna, I'm going to stay in rehab for 60 days. And if he followed through with that, that helped me gain trust because he told me what he was going to do and he followed through. So a key is having that open communication and following through. And it's okay to say, if you have that open communication up already, to say, this is what I need from you. That gives them a choice. You're just telling them what you intend or what you would like. Doesn't mean that they have to follow through. But when at least they listen to you, and if they follow through with some things, it really helps. So a lot of the things that started to gain trust, truthfully, was one, for me working on my own recovery because I had a lot of self-worth issues. I can honestly tell you, since a little girl to about a year ago, not even less than a year ago, a lot of the times my choices and my actions were governed from the small little girl that thought she wasn't good enough. And that doesn't help gain trust because deep down I think that I'm being lied to, or I believe that I'm not good enough when things happen. So once you start to get self-worth in yourself and gain trust in yourself, it's easier for you to trust other people. So one of the things is when Mitchell and I would have a conversation, if Mitchell would just say, hey, Anna, just simple as this, I'm going to go take out the trash. And he actually goes out and takes out the trash. That sounds so weird to say, but I know that the family and friends on here absolutely know what I mean. A lot of the times we say, and I've heard this a lot because this is honestly what I used to say, is Mitchell would tell me promises, the addict would tell me promises, and I would say in my head, these are empty promises. They didn't mean anything because they never were followed through. So when Mitchell started doing things and saying what he was going to do and followed through with them, that started to gain trust. And another way, Charlene, that gained trust is started opening up that communication. Mm-hmm. So when Mitchell, had a trigger, okay? Mitchell had a trigger in the past. If I didn't work on my own recovery, I'd completely admit it to you, I would go 100% into fear and literally go, he's going to use. But now that I've worked on my own recovery and realized that's not what it means either, Mitchell can come to me and say, hey, I got triggered. That does not mean he's going to go into active use. Or, hey, I had a craving. And one of the huge things is because when you really see them work their own recovery, not be the helicopter, because I will admit there were multiple times where I would fly around Mitchell in his early recovery, the first time before he went into rehab when he came back, say that the night it would be coming closer to when he told me he would go to a meeting. And instead of just letting him go to the meeting, I would go, are you going to the meeting tonight? And then right then and there, they don't see it anymore as their choice because we
and then I wouldn't want to do it.
Yeah, and then he wouldn't want to do it, and he would want to, in a sense, rebel. But I also can say that's also pride and ego getting in the way, right?
100%.
Yeah, and so, but Charlene, the best thing is how to gain trust. Just ask them what you need from them. And if they're good in their recovery and they're moving along, they'll try to help as much as they possibly can. Be 100% honest with one another, even if it scares you, because I understand that sometimes we don't want to open our mouth because we're fearful that the addict's going to come out. But I'll tell you, when you start opening it and they're in recovery, they'll listen to you, and then you'll go, holy crap, I'm being heard. And when you're being heard, right then and there, you know that the addict is no longer standing in front of you, but yet it's the person you love again. And the person you love, you do trust. That's what I was saying before about separating the addict from the person you love. Guys, I know there's people on here that get so ashamed and so upset because they're mad at their loved one. They're angry at their loved one. They say nasty things, but I'm going to tell you this right now. You really don't mean that towards the person you love. What you are pissed at and what you are hurt at is you are hurt that the addict is taking over the person you love. That's what you're pissed at. And good God, you have every right to be pissed at addiction. You have every right to be pissed at the disease and as the addict. Because what we're doing is we're watching the person we love slowly disappear. That's why we mourn them, because the addict comes out to play. But just know you're not a bad person if you get angry at them or you get upset and you go, just mean things you think come out of your mouth. The truth is you are not a mean person. You are just so hurt. And what you are hurt by is the addict, is the addiction, and is the disease. Sorry, baby.
No, you're getting real. That was good. It was passionate. No, and I wanted to say too the trust thing. It's kind of a tricky situation because definitely communication, clear communication. You might be communicating totally wrong. Like me and Anna didn't communicate right.
We loved to mind read
for many years. Reflective listening. I think you both have to trust because, like Anna was saying, she wanted to give trust, but as soon as I felt like she didn't trust me, I didn't want to give trust. You know what I mean? It was like, and that was pride and ego. That was old addict tendencies, but it's very iffy. So I think if you clearly lay out your communication and you say, and you do reflective listening and you say, now you said you're going to do this. Is this, I might do this, or am I really going to do this?
That's key too.
If you totally get that down on the same page when you're both listening, because today's world is just busy. You might just say, yeah, I'm going to do that and not mean it. That could be something where you're like, well, you said this. Mm-hmm. So, there's no error if you're both on the same page and you're devoting time to each other when you're asking for things and you say, did this mean this? Yes. Then it's followed up by action. They always say you can't talk your way out of something you acted your way into. You have to act your way out of it. So action speaks louder than words. So the words have to be there and you have to back it up.
And I'm going to go up to the top, guys, because I don't know if questions were
we should probably
asked. Yeah, we will stop in a minute. Let's see real quick. Oh, there's a lot of things.
Yeah, there's not all questions, though.
I know, but I'm going to look through, baby. Let's see. Because I remember there was. Okay.
Janelle,
what are tips to let go of the pain? Truthfully, this is so hard to say because I know some people are like, no. But ready, one of the best tips to let go of the pain is to truthfully feel it. And I know that's very hard to say because I know that both sides of the same coin, whether the addict or the family members, we have a lot of pain, but we like to try to numb it and go into survival mode. And that's even with the families and friends. I know there's people out there, because I know I've done this and I've talked to other friends and family, is we get to a point where we don't even want confrontation anymore. So we'll just go hide in our room or do certain things. But what we're, in a sense, kind of doing too, guys, is we're taking a route to numb our pain so we don't feel it and we don't confront it. And I know that's very hard to say, and it's absolutely okay if you're not at that point yet. But one of the good ways to letting go of the pain is actually feeling it. But here's the deal. When you feel it, you don't do it alone.
Yeah,
you have a support group. You have connection.
Don't feel ashamed of
no. And if you have to reach out to Mitchell and I, we would love for you to reach out to us. We know what you've gone through. Each situation is definitely different, but I think the feelings of being alone, shameful, hurt, angry, resentful, all those feelings are really there for all of us. But that's a huge thing is I would tell you for that, guys. Let me just make sure, because there was one other person here.
Yeah, Janelle asked.
Sorry, guys. Thank you guys so much, though. Because honestly, all these questions and people talking to us, I can't tell you. Mitchell and I, you need to realize too, guys, you're helping us. You are our support. And just knowing that you guys are there, this is absolutely amazing. Because the truth is all we're doing is passing on the knowledge that we've learned, and you're gonna pass on this knowledge. And guys, we're gonna light this way in the darkness.
No, down the other way.
And Charlene, I saw that one about taking out the trash, and you're scared that they're going to go to the liquor store. And just, that's hard to get over, and it's going to be. But once you work your recovery and they work their recovery and you see it, it gets a little bit easier to trust.
You just trust. I mean, yeah.
Janelle, so what if you notice they aren't going to meetings like they say? Then you need those boundaries. Boundaries go right up, and like we talked about, is Janelle, it's hard again, especially if they've been doing a really good recovery and then you see them slip. It really hurts because it's like you're going back into the pain again. But hold those boundaries and have a consequence for the negative action of the addict. But just if you were to sit down, you tell them what's upsetting you, why this consequence is going into effect, and what you need from them.
Yeah, and I think it's important to realize it was the communication right. Is it someone at the beginning of the week saying like over extending themselves and saying they're going to go to 5 meetings a week, because I did that for a while, and you get burnt out? Or is it someone that's like, these are my 3 meetings this week I'm going to, or are they saying these are the meetings I'm going to try to make? Because I didn't communicate that well with Anna my first couple times, and I had all these things. I'm going to this, I'm going to that, I'm going to that. And whenever I was tired and didn't feel like going to a meeting because I worked all day, that's when it hurts the trust again, you know? So get on the same page. You know, if you want to say, you know, if you pick a couple good meetings a week and you're going to go to these ones every day, like, let me know. And then it's almost like, you know, could you let me know the day before if you're not going to go to one? Because change of plan at the last minute is kind of addict tendencies, in my opinion. So communication, get on the same page. You know, I probably wouldn't, hover and check up on them when it's happening, because that's only going to bring more pain for yourself.
And because the truth is too, guys, like we said at the beginning of this, they have to fall. We have to let go. We can't always be there to save them before they fall down. They're going to have to fall on their own to really realize the consequences of the actions of the addict. And Cecile, sweetheart, if you are still struggling, just know, okay, you're doing a good job. You've been dealt with a very hard hand, whether it's the addict or the family member, dealt with a very hard hand, and the knowledge that you have right now, you're doing the best that you can. So don't worry about that, and also reach out to Mitchell if you need him and I. We're always here, guys. Like we said, reach out to us too. We have 2 phenomenal places that we know and we love that Mitchell actually went through. Alpine Recovery Lodge, which is an intensive inpatient. That's out there in Utah. Yep. And if you want to reach out to us, we'll see if we can maybe pass your insurance along, help you out. And then also there's an intensive outpatient, another amazing program called I Am Recovery. Same thing goes to that.
Sober living.
Yeah, so definitely just keep reaching out, guys, because we are here. I think that's one of the things that we struggle with a lot, is we're very scared to open up, but this is the truth, guys. Thank you so much for sharing our videos, for supporting us, because what you need to know, every single person that's sharing this video, you are definitely sending a light to someone that's just scared in the darkness right now, that doesn't want to reach out yet. You guys are helping so many. I can't tell you how many people reach out to us, and when people say, oh, you guys must be busy, we know our boundaries too. We know that we have to take self-care, but we love helping, because the truth is, so many helped us beforehand, and we're just passing that knowledge on, because that's how we're going to defeat this.
Yeah, and there's never going to be too many people reaching out.
No.
If there's too many people that we can't handle, we will bring some other people in here to help some. We know a lot of good people in recovery, and a lot of good people that would want to help other people, like everybody on here.
Yep.
So just keep reaching out, keep your head up, keep doing what you're doing, and connect, share that pain, go through the pain like Anna said, but share it with somebody.
Yep.
Everybody has experience with pain. You know, get vulnerable with people, make sure they're the right people, but you know, we love you all.
Yeah, we love you guys, and like we've said probably for like the last 8 videos, we're gonna share our story when we were in the depth of the addiction. But like I said the last time, I do think it's a little hard still for me, and I don't know for Mitchell, but it's to just kind of lay it all out there, you know, because I don't know truthfully, guys.
There's some trauma.
Yeah, there might be some trauma in there that I don't remember certain things, like what happened last night when I just laid down in the bed and I remembered that moment, you know, of just crying in my parents' arms in the middle of them. But I also know that you guys, truthfully, you're here to support me too. I have my husband here to support me. So I think what we'll do is we're not going to schedule this one. We usually do schedule when we're going to go live, but I think when I schedule stuff, I automatically get that anxiety sometimes. I know a lot of you know what I mean. When something's set up and ready, the anxiety just gets there. So I think we'll just hop on like we did tonight and just talk. But I know Mitchell and I, we're trying to cut these short, but when it just flows and everyone's still on here talking and listening to us, we do just keep going. But if you guys think these videos are too long, please let us know and we'll shut them down.
And Brandy, just to answer you real quick, if there isn't that many family meetings around where you're at, and if you can get online, go to Smart Recovery. Mm-hmm. They do have meetings online you can participate in. You can go webcam, you can do it without a camera and just microphone, or you can just sit and listen, or you can type your answers in, and they have a lot of meetings for families, friends, for the addicts, all that stuff. So,
yep.
And reach out to us and we can look up some more information too.
Yep, and if anybody here is in the Massachusetts area, right around, we live in Lakeville now.
From Brazil. What's up, Brazil?
Awesome. But guys, can I show you how much, before we stop this, is that Danny, thank you for coming up, and she said hi from Brazil. That just shows you that addiction does not matter or does not care where you are. It doesn't care what religion. It doesn't care what color of skin. It doesn't care if you're rich or poor. It affects everybody.
Good upbringing,
and that's
bad
why
upbringing.
Exactly, and that's why we need to be open about this, and why Mitchell and I want to be vulnerable and share experiences, because we know people around the world, there are people that just feel so lonely right now and they don't know what to do. They don't know what the next step is, but we just want you to know that everybody that's on this page, they will love you. Mitchell and I will love you, and I will tell you again, another shout out is because when we say that, it always brings me back to the Voices of Recovery. They were a huge deal in my recovery as well. It's 2 addicts in recovery, and they shared their experiences.
Chris Alder and Shane Bright,
Yep.
You can look them up on Facebook.
And it opens your eyes to what the addict goes through, and that's very helpful because it shows you to have compassion and understanding. So just to let you guys know, that's another place, but that's what they always say at the end, is they say, until you can love yourself, we love you.
I love
and
you.
so the thing is, guys, definitely check out the Voices of Recovery. They're on Facebook as well.
And it's the Voices of Recovery, one word.
Exactly. And no matter what, guys, always reach out. If you need us, you're not alone. We are truly here for you. We love you guys very much. And just keep fighting this hard fight, okay? Because it's a very hard fight, but you are doing the best you can. Do you understand me? You are doing the best you can. And we love you.
We love you. It's worth it. You're worth it.
Have a great
Bye,
night, guys. We'll see you soon. Bye.